Hello folks, I'm Scott Grove. Today I am going to teach you how to play dobro and or lap steel guitar. We're going to be using an open tuning starting from your highest string. That's going to be D, then B, then G, and then D, B, G again. So what we're looking at, here's the actual square neck dobro. You can have a guitar with just high action, I don't care, just as long as you learn to play. Again, it will be D, B, G, then D, B, G again. Okay, so I'm going to teach you how to play it from a guitarist's point of view. Okay, so we're not going to be doing a bunch of junk with the finger picks and so forth. I'm not going to make you do that. If you want to do it, fine. I'm just a plain old guy, and I'm teaching real lessons, unlike pretty much everybody else out there. You're actually going to learn. So I'm going to shut my camera right down to this direction here, and you will get a lot better view of it in the video. But I'll show you basically what's going to happen. If you have a dobro or a guitar, I'm going to have you using a guitar pick, or I'm going to use one. You use whatever you want. But you will get the simple stuff that you've always wanted to do. We're going to do like blues and a little bit of country stuff, but mainly like blues type of stuff that you would actually want to use as a guitar player, like your... Okay, so you'll get that kind of thing. You will get backing tracks to play with, like this, same thing. That kind of stuff, and we will also break out. Don't you like my lovely editing? No editing on here, folks. You learn the stuff from a real guy that teaches you real stuff, and you actually learn. You don't learn from other people. I've spent $3,000 on tapes in my days too, and never learned a dang thing. So you're going to learn from me. Also, if you have, I don't care if it's a guitar and a regular slide bar, if you're using this tuning, you're going to learn. You know, just everything. I'm going to teach you every last flipping thing you can imagine, and you will know how to play this thing. I will give you nice up-close views of how to do this. I explain every single little bitty note for note for note for note thing. So you will not need any tablature, no sheet music, no nothing. I will show you every last thing. So if you want to be able to play this stuff... I mean, it's just so easy. I'm going to make it ungodly easy on you. Okay? So one more time with the track just for fun. Just crank her up. So you get the idea. So anyway, I will catch you guys inside, alright? Don't take any time off. Here's my pretty face. I know you love it. Hey, I didn't get it up there high enough. So anyway, Scott Grove, come get the video, man. Let's rock. Let's do our country thing. Let's do our blues thing. We're tackling a whole new thing, and this is for you guitar players. So all you guys that have always just wanted to play something different, Here it is. Come get it. Yeah! Alright, childrens, this is all you're going to see of me for a long time now. Okay, now, as far as playing these monsters, right now I'm going to show you using the traditional, actual square neck dobro. Like I said, you use a guitar or a lap steel or whatever you want to use, and I'll break out the lap steel with some distortion or some overdrive on it in a little bit, but for the basics to get started, I'm going to use this. You use whatever you want. Okay? Again, like I said, the tuning is on your highest string. That is a D, so if you have an E string, just tune it down to D. The next two strings are the same as your guitar with your B and G. So your B, tune the same as normal, and G is tuned to normal. Okay, so now your next string is actually going to be D, same as your guitar. So far you're cool. So we're doing an open G tuning. So all we've actually done so far, that's same as guitar, and then actually just tuning the high E string down to a D. And now here's where it changes. Since it went D, B, G, it does the same thing. D, B, so it takes your A string, tune it up to a B, and then G on the bottom, which is taking your low E string and tuning it up, way up, actually to G. So once again, D, B, G, and again D, B, and G. Okay, now the kind of slide that you're going to want to use, unless you're using a regular guitar slide for this thing, which is totally acceptable if you just want to play slide guitar in open G, then go, by all means use a regular slide. Okay, this is what these look like. Okay, you don't want the round one like you would get for a pedal steel. You want one that actually is shaped like this. Okay, this one here is a Stevens model made, who the heck makes these? A.R.&M company. A.R.&M. So it looks like it says ARM, but it's A.R.&M company. This is actually the, see if my camera will auto adjust. You can't pay a good guy these days, so I do it all myself. Stevens. So you can see the way it's made. Reason it's made like that is because right here at the top there's a groove. Your first finger is going to fit in that groove. Okay? Then your middle finger is going to go on the side, and then your thumb grabs the other side. So they've got all these grooves here, so it will fit right in there. Okay? So first finger fits in that groove. Your middle finger fits on the side of it, and your thumb fits in the other side. So there's grooves there for everything. Okay? And your ring finger and your pinky will be behind it, dampening the, sitting on the strings behind it. So it'll be dampening it so you're not getting all this weird stuff. You put it behind there on the strings to shut them up. Now you've got, without the rattle. If you want the rattle, sometimes it's cool for the Delta blues. You can get all that. But if you want to quiet that down, then you actually dampen. So that's your, those are your damping fingers. If you want to know the words, there they are. So, okay. So if you play slide at all, cool. If not, you're getting ready to. The whole deal with this is it's totally an open chord. Okay, so that is your open G chord. Okay, the one thing to know about this is even though this actually has frets on it, and then my electric one that's sitting right there on the floor don't have any, I'm still going to refer to everything as frets. So whether your instrument has frets or not on it, it does for today. If it's a line, it's a fret. Okay? So there's a G chord. I basically want you to think about this being your D string, your G string, and your B string as being the majority of this instrument, okay? So in this tuning, the strings that you're already familiar with, how they're tuned, are those three: D, G, B. So that is your G chord, okay? Just like on your guitar, so no different. So think about that. You're used to playing guitar, go with something you're used to. That's why we're here. It's for guitar players. This is not to teach you how to play like a country dobro player. This is to teach you how to play with the mindset of a guitar player, so it's not going to take you forever to learn a new instrument. Okay? So with this slide in hand, you'll get used to holding it and controlling it. When you put it on the neck, it just goes flat down on the neck. You don't push down on anything. You just hold it on there. You can push a little bit, but not much, because if you do, it's going to go out of tune because you're pushing those strings way down. You know how that works. But at least you don't have any actual frets to get to, so there's nothing under you. It's like walking a tightrope without a net. So what you've got, if you think about that G string, now where is your C on your guitar? On that G string. That's right, it's right up here at the 5th fret. And if you haven't played slide before, when you put your slide on a fret, you put it on it. You don't put it behind it like you do when you're fretting a guitar or anywhere else. You go right directly on top of that thing. So I want you to want me. No, I'm bringing this up so you can check her out. It will go right there. See how it is directly above the fret. Okay? So, and your bar will stay completely even with the fret all the way across. I don't want it tilted in any way, shape, or form. So you can see how I'm holding it. Here's the proper way to hold it. And just put your fingers back here just to hold down the strings and shut them up. Okay? So there's what it will look like. Okay? So we are on the 5th fret now. Like I said, we are on it. We are not behind it like we usually do when we're playing. We're on it. Okay? So if you play those same 3 strings, your D, G, and B string, with this on there, and those dampening the strings, just those 3, that is your C chord. Because we are at the 5th fret. If you move it up 2 more, up to where you're, if you were playing like an A chord on your guitar with 1 finger type of thing, but moving it way up here, that would be your D chord. Just like if you moved your A chord from your 2nd fret and just moved it up to the 7th. So we're actually like on the 7th fret and playing those same 3 strings, your D, G, and B string. And yes, I'm just using a pick. I don't have time to switch instruments and put on finger picks, blah, blah, blah. And I would rather, I'm used to a pick, so why change? You do whatever you want, but this is the way I do it. Okay, so there's G, open, 5th fret, and when you're doing these things, remember this is a slide. Remember to slide to stuff. You can go right to it, do whatever the heck you want, but I'm giving you some advice here, so slide it to that C at the 5th fret. Play those 3 strings. Then bring it up to D, up 2 more frets. But how are you going to get there? Then we can start shaking that dude, getting some rattle out of it. It's starting to happen now. Okay, so bring it up. We're not trying to sound Hawaiian, but you may get some of that. Give it some shake. You want to hear the bar rattling against there, but you don't want to let off your damper thing. You can. If you want to really give it some shake, that's how you do it. Get rid of your damper fingers and you'll get the most rattle you can get. Okay? So the more of that noise that you want, take fingers off as far as the damping. Okay? So there's that little tidbit. Okay, so we've got that part accomplished. Those 3 strings. And those 3 chords. And again, we do have a 12th fret. Double dots. Go up there and you're back to G again. See, now when you do something over top of where you would have a natural harmonic, and you put your slide there, and you don't use your damper fingers, it gets really funky. So this is where I will prove to you. See? If you get it slightly off, you get harmonics ringing in tune and your slide ringing out of tune together. So you put that thing, you put your fingers back down and dampen it. That's the best example I can give you. Okay, so you know those chords already. So you can probably figure out all the rest, what they're going to be. It's not that tough. If you know where A is, 2nd fret, B, 4th fret, C, 5th fret, D, 7th fret, E, the 9th fret, F, the 10th fret, and then G, the 12th. Then we start over with A, B, C, and D. Okay? So those are our 3 strings. Now, why it's really cool and why they are detuned and why everybody else gets the cool sounds that you don't when you're playing regular slide is because of your open D string. So this is like an E, but you tuned it down to D. Now, when we go, let's just for the heck of it, since it's right here in camera view, sorry, see, I'm kicking my cameraman, which is me, I'm going up to the 12th fret. It's right here, it's in plain. Okay, now, so that we're being up here at the 12th fret, what we have to do is, okay, you are in G, you add your high D string in, so it makes a full chord. So no matter where you're at, even if you're back here at the 5th fret for your C, you get the whole chord. Okay, now we have to get the cool blues sound out of it, this 7th chord. That's why we're tuned like this, okay? So we're in G at the 12th fret. Now what I want you to do from here is actually go up to where you would actually get a G normally on your high E string, which would usually be here at the 15th fret. And I want you to play the 1st and 2nd strings. Okay, so now that is no longer a G like it used to be on guitar. That is now an F, so that is your 7th note. If you actually want a G, since you tuned down 2 frets, you have to move your slide up. So think about that. So you're here, and if you want to take that one string only, your high E string, which is now a D, and get that G, you'll always have to remember to bring that up 2 frets. So that is now your G. So okay, so that mystery solved. You have to, that's what it is that is tuned to a 7th. If you were thinking about it in terms of this normally being your G on your high E string and your B string, you used to be able to just bar 2 fingers, one finger across those 2 strings and get, that G chord, or that little G thing, but now it is a D note and an F to give you that 7th. Okay, now here's the fun part, okay, is I'm going to have you on the 15th fret, since we are in a 7th, and this is why we're here, for this sound more than anything. That, okay, you can't do that with any other standard tuning hardly. I do show you how to do it in one of my other slide videos and get it in standard tuning, but this is the way it was originally done before I was so brilliant to show you the other one. No, teasing. Anyway, so alternate picking back and forth on your E and B string, or your D string now I should say, and your B string. And we're looking for that shaky right back down to the 12th fret. So it's chromatic, it's each fret down, or you can pretend there's no frets, which kind of there's not, and just bring it down. And go down past the 12th fret, and then slide everything back up into place. Okay, so that's our first exercises right there. Okay, so I'm hitting the 2 high strings from the 11th fret, sliding them to the 12th. and then hitting the B string, G string, D string, whatever, all after that. So whatever you want to hit. So I'm just hitting kind of the middle strings, mainly the G string and B string, and just sliding into them from 1 fret back, from the 11th to 12th, 11, 12, 11, 12. Okay, there, I'm just going up to that G that I showed you, that you are playing the 7th. And then you got to stop that B string from ringing. And then bring your slide up 2 frets to get your G note. Okay, so that's how that all works. That's how this was designed, to create that. That's why they use this tuning. Okay, so you get what's going on there. So work on that. That'll give you enough to work on for a whole day, but then come back and let's go again. Let's do it in C, just to see if we've got what's going on. Let's slide up to the C from 4th fret to 5th fret. Just your 3 middle strings here again. And add in that D string, which used to be your E string. So there's your C chord. Now how do we get that one sound? That's right, I'm taking it away. How do we get that? Where do we go? Think of it again as putting just your fingers down. If your high E string still existed, where would it have to go to get a C note? That's right, it would have to go up here at the 8th fret. Okay, so you again put your bar up here at the 8th fret, and you're going to be playing your D string. Okay, that's hard to call it a D string, and we know it's supposed to be an E, but okay, so that is a C7. So there it is in C, the same lick. And the same thing before, how we got from... Okay, remember that is a 7th. That is no longer a C, that is now, what is it? A B flat. So you have to slide that note up to get to where you were. Okay, or to get to home base or your C chord. Okay, so that's how we get those. Knowing that, I'm just plowing through this stuff. You guys stop it where you have to, please. And knowing that, same thing in D. I'm going G, C, D if you can't tell. Just typical blues. Everybody loves G, especially this tuning because you're in open G. And I'll show you why open G is cool too. We'll give you some open licks right after this one. So from C up to our D chord. So now we're there. We can play anything we want. Most of these are just going to be 1 fret things. Mess around with this thing. Those are all 1 fret. It's all right there. Play those notes 1 fret back, 1 fret to them. I know I'm making it sound Hawaiian, but I'm getting my point across here. Okay, the other thing that's cool, we're in D, on our 7th fret, hopefully you are. You do have home bass right there in the middle on your G string. Go back 2 frets for your 7th there. There's your major blues again. So as much as you can do that 1 fret thing and get all kinds of cool stuff. But if you're... There is a cool lick. Okay, that is on your G string, 7th fret, back to the 5th fret, so that gives you your 7th. Then on your D string, while it's down there, bring it back up to the 7th fret. So you're going 7, 5 on your G string, then D string, 1 time, slide it back up to 7th, then go back to that 7th and slide it up twice. So you have, okay. You can even go and go right to that, right to your D note, or your D string, I'm sorry. If you don't have time to go to do that. You can add in that B string, sounds good there too. Or add in that D string that you're already playing. Just depending on what you're looking for, but remember that they're all there to use. You can put them all in if you want. Okay, so that is just a cool, quick lick, but then you can grab any combination of notes or one note right there, because they're all there. Okay, to get that other thing in D, what do? You go up here to the 10th fret where your D note usually would be if it was tuned to E like on your guitar, and do the same thing on those two strings. You have your 7th chord, and you have to slide up to it to get your root note, or your D. So you're at the 12th fret, which would normally be your E, but since you're tuned down to D, it is now D. Or okay, so that's how you get the basics of this whole thing. I told you I was going to go to open G thing next. Let's do a couple of things there, and then I'll show you how to utilize some of your other strings, and we'll grab the electric, okay, and start putting some things together. On your two middle strings, your D string and your G string, okay, I want you to play your D string, and then you're hammering on. Yes, you can hammer on with a slide. So you just take it from out of nowhere, you're holding it, it don't go anywhere because you've got it, your fingers in all those grooves. I'm going about the 2nd fret up to the 3rd. I'm making it look drastic, okay? Just to get the point across. It's actually this kind of movement. So if I go up here to show you guys, which is the whole intent of this thing, it is just this much of a movement. Then your G string. So you're actually hammering on at the 3rd fret. Then 2nd fret, slide down to it, and let off. So it's like a pull off, because you're not picking it anymore down here. Okay, so to see everything, so D string, hammer on 2nd fret, slide up, then open G string, hammer on 3rd fret, and then slide it to the 2nd fret, and then pull off, open. Okay, so that is, if you want that exact lick, which I like, do twice on your D string. Okay, so twice on your D string open, slide up, twice on your G string open. Okay, so there's the lick. And then I go open D string, open G string together at the same time. One time, then 3, 2, open, slide. So you have okay, that coming up was just going up to the C note, but I hit the B flat, 3rd fret, same 2 strings in the middle, your D and G string, and slide it sharply up to your 5th fret. forget that. That's the money stuff. That's that same thing. Go up to C, the C seventh, and then grab that. So we learned how to do that, so things are coming together. But if you're coming back to G, okay, that was the same thing, just at 3rd fret. We did it way up here at the 15th. Open, or, okay. Okay, there's one other thing we got to learn real quick, then I'll get the electric out, is basically what used to be, you can make an F chord on your guitar, which is the typical F chord like this. Okay, we're going to do that again, but remember, this high E string is no longer a high E string, so we have to think of it as it has to go up like this, like you're putting your pinky down. So think of this now like this. So you used to have an F chord like this, but now you have to put your pinky down on the 2nd fret, or the 3rd fret, I'm sorry, on your high E string, just now your D string. And that's what we're going to be thinking of for this next little thing to get you some licks in here. If you are doing this, and you want a way to get back down that is familiar with you in your guitar head, think of that F chord, but with that pinky down, and moved up to G, like you all know how to do, just move it up 2 frets. Now think of that. Look at those notes. If you're playing a dobro or whatever, I'm playing a dobro, so I'm actually nowhere near the flipping fretboard here. So, but those are the notes you can play. Look at those. So you got 5th fret, 5th fret, 3rd fret, 4th fret, and then 5th fret again. So that same stair step, these notes are the ones you can play if you're in G now, if you want another lick. Okay? So I know your open G stuff is right down there, but you can play these, because if you're doing, and right there you are, you need a way to get out of that, a lick to get out of it. You play that F looking chord. Slide into them all. Okay, so no other notes around it can you hit. So think of that. You know what I'm talking about. So make it that F, which would be an F suspended 2nd, if anybody out there is a chord hog and knows all that stuff. So F suspended 2nd, so F2, but it's actually moved up to here, so it's G 2nd, and that's how you get that. Okay, and also here on the low strings, they are all the same as everything else we've been playing. So if you can go like this on your G string, guess what? You can do it on your other G string, your lowest string. Okay, so everything you can do here on this G string, you can do on this one, okay? So remember that. I'm not going to focus a whole bunch on the low ones because they are identical to the other ones. Whatever you can do on these three, or these three, I'm sorry, you can do on these three. So that is your G chord. But you have to, that is still a 7th. So you have to slide up here to get your G note. So the only actual two notes that can compromise a G chord or form a G chord would be there. Okay, so it's just, or I'm sitting there playing a B flat. But anything that you could, I'm sitting there thinking G that way. That's actually a B flat chord, but here's G. C, there's C, same as D. Okay, so it's the same as all your other ones is what I'm trying to say. So there's G. There's your G chord. Now that is a 7th. The next note, so you have to bring it up 2 frets, and then there's your G. Okay, let's grab out the electric and have some fun. I'll put this bad boy down. We'll grab this dude and be able to see some other fun stuff. And we'll play along with some tracks. Okay, now this guy, I've just got some distortion on the dude. I'll back some of it down. Okay, so the same thing we were doing before. Nothing different. If you are in G for now, still the same. Up to the 12th fret, double dots right here. On your D, G, and B string. Same things we've been doing. The same thing up to the 15th fret. Don't forget your vibrato. You could do it as much as about a 1/4 fret, maybe even 1/2 fret. Going both ways, sharp and flat. So get around them just a little bit, okay? That's your B string. Going 1 fret. That's your D string going a whole step, 2 frets on your D string. Then your G string from your 12th fret down to your 10th. Just like we talked before, getting your 7th. Now I'm going 2 frets on everything. Same lick I showed you way down there. Now it's going to make some sense. I'll grab some gain, throw it in there. Okay, so now it's starting to liven up. So this is what we're looking at. And it will be the same basic principle for every chord you play. These are just the standard licks that will get you there. If you think like a guitar player and just realize you've only got a couple strings, 1 string out of tune, and then it all repeats again, it will make it a lot easier, okay? So again, that's how you get your high G note, like we've always done. Just remember to do that. If you add more gain, okay, so that's nothing different than what we have done. If you want the really quick thing from Thorogood, it's that easy. Same as it always was on your regular guitar. So 2 times on your D and G string together. 5th fret. Open. 3rd fret. And open again. Up to your 12th fret. Same as on a guitar. It's not even tuned different. But you can get all that up to the 15th fret where you have your G7. And don't forget, even up here, what was that? Same thing I showed you down there. It would look like that F chord with your pinky. Same thing. So after you put that way up there, up to the 17th fret, then 15th fret on your B, make the rest of your F looking chord, 16th on your G, 17th on your D. And don't forget, you can always make it laugh. Okay, that's just for fun. Okay, so let's get playing here. Remember, I'm going to throw on a track right now and show you guys how to get through it. Again, we're going to be in G, of course, and then we're going to move around. Okay, but I'm going to leave a lot of that up to you because these are the basics. I'm going to get my track here ready, and what we have again, of course, in the key of G. Remember that, and I'm letting you play a lot of this. I'm letting the whole track play through. Okay, so I'm going to do a basic coaching thing right here for the first part of it while it plays, and you just check out what I'm saying. So I'm going to say G at the 12th fret. Just to know where you're at. Now we're going to go C, 5th fret. Back to G. To D. C. To G. To D. Okay? So just from that, okay, that's C, C sharp, D. Okay, so those are the positions. So you get to play all that stuff I just showed you. Every little lick I showed you, put it together over top of each chord. So we will be chord chasing for now, which means every time a chord changes on the track, you'll follow along with it and play some licks. For example, I'll go right back to just a couple seconds and go through one time and do very basic stuff, but you have already learned the other stuff, so you'll be able to follow and make up your own stuff, which is the most important part. G. C. Back to G. D. C. So there you go, the basic stuff. Here is your G blues track, just like that you can play along with. I will shut up and get out of your way. We've got about, how long is this sucker? This is 4 minutes long. So this is your jam track in the key of G. Okay, so it'll always be here. Come back and play with it as much as you can. So key of G, here we go for 4 minutes. It's all you guys. Okay, you get this big lovely drum intro that I put in. Yep, it's a Casio keyboard. You gotta love it. Here we go. Ugh. Okay, so there's your track. If you didn't notice in the background, I'm sitting here doing all this stuff, and mainly with my fingers, so you could actually see some suggestions as you're playing. You can go back if you have a brain fart for any reason, you need some ideas, go back and kind of look at some of the stuff I was doing, and you could probably follow right along because it's everything that I've already shown you. Okay, so that track's always there for you to go back to. Also, while you're there, remember, I'll back a little of this off. If you're in C, you're at the 5th fret, remember, just like guitar, you can go all the way up here to the 17th fret, which is like the 5th fret all over again, and play C up there. So if you're in G way up here, don't forget your C's there. Okay, so remember your C is there, and D. Okay, so remember those are up there, so go get them. And don't forget your low strings too. I know it's going to be easy to forget that they're there. Okay, it's very easy to forget that they're there. Especially since you're playing like lead all the time, it seems like on these things. But go down and get them. Okay, so they're there, so go grab them. Okay, as muddy as they may seem to you, they're useful if you use them mainly as a single note, okay? Okay, so now as far as other keys go, everything should be relatively easy for you. Of course, if you're playing an F, you're right here, just like on any guitar, okay? If you're in B flat or if you're whatever, but these are the basic tools to get all of this accomplished. There is so much more you can do, but if you think about it in terms of guitar, everything should be very, very easy for you from this point. It's just remembering that you have a full chord. Okay, let's go back to the C again, here at the 5th fret. You have four strings, I'm sorry, starting from your D string to your D string, that are your entire chord. So you can always come back to one of those and you'll always be safe. If you get lost in the middle of something, go back to any of those notes. So you're playing along. Just grab one and you're okay. Because it's within your chord. So you come back to your safe zone. You have safe zones on your regular guitar, you know where they're at. If everything else fails and falls apart, you know where to go back to. Come back to any of those four notes. So you start getting here, just come right back to your safe zone. Okay? So if you're in any other key, it does not matter. These are the rules. These are the differences between this and a guitar, okay, as far as playing like a guitar player, but on these instruments, okay? And the real hard part is basically just getting used to the slide if you've never played one of these before, okay? So just, the thing is not to drop it. You know, they make it so it's almost foolproof. Do not get a round slide. May be late at this point, but I'll make sure I put in the ad, do not get a round slide. So if we're going in, like say, the key of A, where do we go? Okay? Think about it. How do you play an A chord on a guitar? That's right, you play it right here, so go there. Okay, so think of everything off of your G string. Every single thing is off of your G string on your regular guitar. So A chord, it would have to go on the G string, so there it is. So you play everything the same, and you are creative enough, if you're wanting to tackle this video, that with what I've showed you so far, you can figure the rest of this out. It's very simple. You know how to make music already, so let's make some music on this thing. So there's your A, we already know where D is, and E, back up to A. nothing is any different than what I've showed you. Okay, so there it is. That is it in a nutshell. So again, practice on. There's another quick little lick. This will get you a lot of places. You know this on guitar already. Here's your D string, but we're playing an A. G string, B string, up 1 fret to the 3rd fret, up to the 5th fret, then backward. Okay, so that's same as on guitar if you're doing, you know, dun, 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 dun. So you know this lick on a guitar. Of course I can't play it here because it's a big old chunk of thing and there's no actual frets. So whether it's do, re, mi. Okay, so all those notes you can play already on here. Okay, so check those out. Okay. Okay, so these you have already just learned, but add all the stuff that you already know in your arsenal to it. Okay, and think of that also. You got your major 7 lick. Okay, so you have this lick that you know. Okay, which is actually taking your 7th and making a major 7th. Just because we know this is a detuned string. Okay, so there's your whole scale if you actually want to know it. It's all there except for remembering that one string is detuned. So on your G string, 2nd fret, 4th, B string, 2nd fret, 3rd, 5th, then D string, 3rd, or 4th, I'm sorry, 6th, 7. So practice that. I'll practice it too. Why not? It sounded like I needed it for a couple seconds. Okay, so that's your basic scale. So anyway, that's a lot of what I can show you on here because the rest of it is just playing what you already play on guitar, but just transferring it to this thing. Okay, so whether it's dobro or whether it's this, if you want to do it in the mindset of a guitar player, that's the basic licks to everything. Everything else is already thought out, and again, your strings are doubled down here, so you can do the same exact things. So, same thing on your low strings as you're doing on your high ones. So I'm going to cram up here, where you get to see my lovely face. Oh, camera dude, you're great. Anyway, Scott Grove again. I hope you enjoyed the little introduction to how to play these things in open G. There's a million different tunings you can use, but every one's going to be different. So there's how all the basics. Like I said, if you know the guitar, then this will become actually very easy. The majority of the hard part is just handling the slide guitar or the slide guitar. It might be hard to handle if you don't have a strap on that thing. Or if you got it on your lap, you're fine. But get used to that guy. You got to be all limp-wristed. Sorry for anybody out there that I may have offended, but it was cute. Admit it. So just get used to doing this guy. I know you will. It's just like getting used to a regular slide or whatever, but you can actually toss it away anytime and it's not going to break on you. It's always going to be metal. They don't make glass slides for these things. Okay, so something nice and chunky, but not the round ones. And remember, play your licks you always do, and remember there's just basically only one string out of tune compared to what you normally do, and then they're all doubled again on your bottom 3 strings. So whatever you can play on your top 3 strings, you can play on the bottom ones. That's why I'm not concentrating a whole bunch on that. Okay, you can get down there and do the exact same thing you're already doing on the others. Just do it down, you know, an octave or 2 lower. Not too tough to figure. Okay, so once again, Scott Grove, a little something there. Somebody requested this video, and that's what I can tell you about all this stuff. So hope you enjoyed it. Hope you get something out of it. Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye. Okay, folks, right here is something that a lot of you probably are not familiar with, but we're going to be looking at what is the Peavey Power Slide, and you'll see it right again on the front of the instrument. That's right. This is basically a lap steel, okay, and they have made it quite brilliantly, actually, for so little money. You can wear it straightforward like a guitar, but it is a big honkin' square neck like it's supposed to be, not like just a regular guitar. They did a great job at a very simple instrument. Somebody really thought it out and thought about the needs of those few of us out here that actually still play these. Okay, of course you can tune them any way you want. I tune them like I would a dobro, meaning on 6 strings. You're looking at D, B, G, and then repeat it. D, B, G. Okay? And they have a single humbucker in them. Their tone control is amazing. It goes opposite of what you normally would think. So instead of cranking it open, you get all high end. It's the opposite way around. And it is very... let me get some volume on. So you turn it off, you get your high end. Turn it the other way. So it is very, very almost active sounding. They put this cutaway in here, which is a beautiful thing. Look at that deal. There's the shape of it. Fits the biggest bellies you can have. I used to have a big belly. I've lost 30 pounds in the past year, so that's a beautiful thing. This thing is just amazing. Of course, it tunes right here on top like it should. They're regular Kluson style keys on here. Very simple bridge. And I'm doing it the opposite way, but there's your bridge, very simple. And the nut is very simple. This whole instrument with gig bag and this Y-shaped, I don't know if you can see it back that way, but this Y-shaped strap all comes with it for $200 shipped. Okay, so I could actually, I'm strapped in here, I'm strapped in here, and I'm strapped in up here at the top. And if you wear it straight like a normal guitar, you could strap it in there. So all this comes with it. Everything but the slide bar. Okay, so here is the guitar in that tuning. The fretboard, so to speak, is painted on. They actually, if you're holding it this way, have you put your arm in between the 2 straps, which is fine and dandy with me. You can still reach everything. Your hand gets to where it needs to be. I've got the volume turned down so it'll be cleaned up just a little bit. Okay, so nice and easy sounding. You can open this thing up. very cool, useful sounds out of this thing. And again, with that tone control, you can really roll off the high end and just the opposite. Like I said, it's the opposite. And now you've got a very less polished sound with the tone rolled off. Okay, so there's basically the sounds from this thing. I'm going to pull the plug, I'm going to pull the straps, I'm going to show you the rest of it because I want to show you the instrument, not how I play. That's not what it's about. So anyway, here's the instrument again, the Peavey Power Slide. Woohoo! Okay, the back of it, nice and simple. There is nothing there. This is the candy apple red. They offer it in white. They offer it everywhere. This is a made in China thing. Again, that's why they can bring them on in here. Don't let your kids chew on it because of the lead paint. Okay, so sorry for anybody out there whose kids have chewed on lead paint. I got to put a disclaimer in there. Good thing I don't work for NBC. This would be a lot of fun. There's your input or your output, however you want to put it. It's actually an output. I don't know why they ever call it an input jack because it's an output jack. Like I said, you have 1, 2, 3, and at the top of the headstock, 4 places to do this thing. So you can actually wear it straight and play a regular slide bar, which is your preference. I won't say it's crazy, but yeah, it's meant to be played this way or on your lap. Tune it however you want. There's no set thing for anything, actually. You know how that goes. So tune it how you want. Like I said, I have it tuned in open G, just like a dobro would normally be tuned up. Okay, so that's it, man. It's laid out. You've got 2 plus octaves painted on there for you. Like I said, it's not a laminate that they just glue on. It's actually just painted on. Nice, simple instrument, but somebody thought it out. It does have curvature here, so that if you're playing it, you know, over the top, and you know, you're playing it like a guitar, and you're playing a slide here, it is not a big thick square. See, it's nice and thin on this side, thicker than all get out on this side, so your hand fits nicely. So somebody there at Peavey actually plays a lap steel. They play guitar also, and they thought this thing out. And like I said, $199.99 shipped to your door or less if you go through eBay. And it's just a cool as all get out instrument. So if you want to play one of these things, it works, it sounds great, it feels great, it is well thought out. Kudos to Peavey for putting out the Power Slide. I'm loving this thing. I also play the dobro, so it makes it an easy thing to just pick up and play, you know, for me. And like I said, you can tune it to standard tuning, open E's, or whatever you want to tune it to. You tune it to that and just go to town, man. You have a cool looking modern day instrument that doesn't look, you know, classic. If you're going for something weird, wild, wacky, this is the one. If you want to go old school, go get you an old lap steel and have at it. But again, Peavey, they come out with some really neat stuff. And they did it again with the Power Slide. I have to give this a 15 on a scale from 1 to 10 for price and build and just all around ingenuity when it came to designing this thing. Doing it right, including the gig bag, including the Y strap that they actually include with it. That's the strap I use with it. And like I said, kudos, man. They did it right. The tone thing is amazing. It's very responsive, and it couldn't be better. So I highly recommend, if you're looking for a lap steel, go with the Peavey Power Slide. It is a monster. You can't beat this deal. Okay? So there you go.